too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. I wanted to come in here real quick to, really quick. I'm not going to be in here long. I'm actually going to be on Lord Jamar's podcast in about 25 minutes from the time I'm recording this. So, and you may be watching a recording. If you're watching a recording, then just go over to Lord Jamar's podcast because I guess it will have already gone down. I look forward to talking to the brother. I've never met him before. It's going to be really interesting. But anyway, here's what I wanted to bring to your attention. A lot of you saw the debate with Kamala Harris. In fact, let me know in the chat. Give me a yes or no if you saw the debate with Kamala Harris and what went down with her and Mike Pence last night. It was a really interesting debate. I didn't watch too much of it, but I did catch some stuff. I read some transcripts and, and it was what it was. I mean, it was, it was a sort of a typical political sort of thing. But here's something I want to bring to your attention. And the reason I want to bring it to your attention is because I think it's important that we think through everything involving not just elections, but just how we live our lives and the choices that we make. And this is not in any way me telling you who to vote for. I don't do that. I don't let you, I don't let anybody infringe on my rights. Nobody tells me what to do, but I'm not here to tell you what to do either. And I want to make that 100% abundantly clear. Do me a favor, by the way, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. What's up, Woke One and Lovely Doe and Miles Bachelor? Yeah, do I look different? Yeah, I look different for 2 reasons. 2 reasons I look different. One, I'm in the middle of a long-term dental procedure because I'm determined to have good dental health because that affects the rest of your body. And then number 2, I am losing weight. The benefit of the dental process is I'm on a liquid diet and I've lost almost 10 pounds. My goal is to lose about 20 pounds. I really like this weight loss thing. So I'm gonna kind of stick with it. We went running this morning. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing Boyce Watkins 2.0. So you can't clown me anymore with old fat pictures because I'm not gonna be a fat boy for long. So anyway, here's what I want to show you guys really quick. I'm gonna show this. This is on my Instagram. And my Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. As I pull this up, please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button as I pull this up. This is an image that somebody sent to me today, and it's a really compelling image, and you can see it here. This is Patrick D. Hampton shared this. Now, I don't know if Patrick Hampton is the person who created this image or not. Whoever created it, if you know who created it, please put their name in the chat, and I will make sure that they get credit for their extraordinary work. This is an image of Kamala Harris made out of all the Black men that she locked up and kept in prison past their release date for jail labor. So this isn't just the Black men she locked up. This isn't just, and you see right here in the mosaic, they took all the images of all these brothers, almost like dead souls, souls that have gone through the hell of modern day concentration camps. And they made a mosaic of Kamala Harris using the images of all these brothers who have gone through the trauma of the prison system under Kamala's regime. And these aren't just, this isn't, now mind you, this is not all the Black men she locked up. From what I understand, this is not all the Black men she locked up. This is the Black men she locked up and kept in prison past their release date. And also there are a lot of people who have said that because the state of California was able to make so much money from cheap slave labor. That's what it is. It's not prison labor, it's slave labor. The 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery. The 13th Amendment, as most of you know, did not abolish slavery. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery unless you've been convicted of a crime. And if you go through books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth, Dr. Claude Anderson talks about how when the North didn't want Black people coming to the North taking jobs, they allowed the South to create the black codes and to change their laws to deliberately incarcerate as many black men as they possibly could. Their goal was to lock them up so they could make money from them. And the modern day prison system, the one like the one Kamala Harris was in charge of in California, was designed to profit from prison labor, slave labor, black labor, etc. That's the first point. So that's the collage, and I think it's important to show that. I think it's very important to show that because, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm not here. I'm not campaigning. If you want to know where I stand politically, this is where I stand. This is where I'm at. I vote in every election. I vote for black people. If somebody wants my vote, they're gonna have to come get it. If they don't come get it, they ain't gonna get it. You don't get me with no lesser of two evils. You can't scare me with no coronavirus where 99.9% of us are going to live. You can't scare me by telling me how terrible Donald Trump is, because Donald Trump, I ain't seen him do, he ain't tried to do nothing to me. So I'm not sitting here defending anybody. I'm not saying that I have a favorite Democrat or a favorite Republican. I don't have a favorite racist. You want to choose the lesser of two evils. I want to choose no evil at all. I walk away from evil, period. So I'm not going to tell you who my favorite bigot is between a Donald Trump, who clearly, in his history, in his past, that he doesn't like black people and that much. He doesn't like anybody that much. Joe Biden, 47 years. No, if I ask people, I say, well, what can you tell me Joe Biden's done for black people significantly in the last 47 years? They can't name nothing. They can't, even his own people can't really name anything. They can only talk about what they think he might do. But I know what he did do. And I know that he and Kamala, one thing they have in common, which is very unfortunate, is that they both have an extensive and exhaustive record of really doing everything they can to incarcerate as many people as possible. And who they were incarcerating the most was the black male. Joe Biden, I tell you to go reference that speech he gave where he was talking about the super predators born to single mothers. He said there's 100,000 of them. We must take them out of society. That is, in case you're not sure, that is an Adolf Hitler extermination, genocidal sort of speech. Those are the kinds of speeches that were given in Nazi Germany when they were making plans to mass exterminate an entire population of people. So when Joe Biden said there's 100,000 of them, we got to take them out, we got to get them out of society, he was basically saying, give me billions of dollars so I can build concentration camps all throughout the United States that will incarcerate these hundreds of thousands of super predators from single parent homes and get them off the street. Okay. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I vote for black people. Whoever you vote for, go vote. Just go do what you're going to do. Whatever you're going to vote for, just go do it. And after it's over with, maybe we can sit down and talk about a real plan of action for black empowerment. Because this is not the plan. This is not me giving you my opinion. This is not just a bias. This is proven. Black people, this is not the first election black people have voted in. We've been voting in every election. When our wealth has been going down, we've been voting. When our kids are being locked up, we've been voting. When our children are not being educated, we've been voting. When little kids are getting shot up in the hood, we've been voting. When our community is falling apart, we've been voting. When we've lost the fathers in our homes, we've been voting. So anybody who tries to tell you or tell me or anybody that voting is the way to solve the problem, those individuals, unfortunately, are just simply misinformed. They're just simply misinformed. They need to go read some books, read The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, who's a good friend of mine. I love Michelle. They need to go and study Dr. Claude Anderson's work. Because if you want to solve a problem, you got to really try to solve it. You can't just repeat what you did before and think that's going to be the solution. Do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe button. I'm not going to keep you guys for long. I got to get ready to go hang out with Lord Jamar. I look forward to talking to the brother. Never met the brother before, but he seems like a smart guy. He seems conscientious, and I look forward to really getting to know him. Also, the Powernomics Masterclass. If you want to join us for our Powernomics Masterclass with myself and Dr. Claude Anderson, we're going to go through all 8 chapters of Powernomics, which breaks down not just Black history and Black politics and Black systematic racism. It also breaks down economic strategies to overcome that racism. He's very good at breaking down the broad team-based strategies for political and economic domination for Black people. I'm very good at breaking down family-based solutions that you can apply right now, today, tomorrow, next week in your own family, in your own household, that will ensure that no matter what your false black leadership chooses to do, no matter what the rest of the community chooses to do, no matter what the other 40 million people choose to do, you and yours will be in a good position. My daddy used to say, he said, look, what I care about most is taking care of me and mine. When I go vote, I'm thinking about what's this going to do for my family, what's this going to do for my people, the people that I got to look out for. So some of y'all have that same mindset. So we're going to give you a battle plan in order to do that. So feel free to join us. You can go to powernomicsmasterclass.com. That's powernomicsmasterclass.com. So hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to pull up another picture for you guys. I want you guys to see this picture. This is another picture on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. And let me pull this up. Hit the thumbs up button while I pull this up. All right. So here's another picture, and I want you to pay attention to this. This is another Kamala Harris. This is something Kamala has to answer for. You look here. This is California incarceration rates by race, ethnicity in the year 2010. So Kamala has a lot of political experience. I think she's a great politician in the sense of knowing how to operate within systems. I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, I really say that in a genuine way. This is not a Kamala Harris diss track. This is a Kamala Harris truth track. My goal is to tell truth, not to diss. So Kamala Harris, very smart lady, very ambitious. I'm very impressed by that. But she has to answer for this. If you look at incarceration rates in California, during the time when she was an attorney general, you see here, these are incarceration rates, number of people incarcerated per 100,000 in that racial ethnic group. For whites, it's 453. For Hispanics, it's 757. For blacks, it's 3,036. And for American Indian, Alaskan Native, it's 996. Those numbers are huge disparities. Those are very problematic disparities. I'd be willing to almost say, I'm not sure, I got to do the math on this, but I believe that there were more black people per 100,000 being locked up in California than there are people dying from coronavirus. And here's the thing. The thing about this, the reason this is important is because Kamala should answer for this. You see, what Kamala does, unfortunately, is when she's challenged on this, especially from a white person or from the Republicans, she'll say something that expresses righteous indignation. She'll say, I'm not going to be lectured on my job as Attorney General. Well, you don't need to be lectured. Just answer the question. You know, nobody's trying to beat you down. Nobody's trying to say bad things about you. We're just asking you, where were you when these black people needed you? And why was it that under your regime that these numbers were so bad? Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe there was nothing you could do. Maybe you tried to help and nobody would listen to you. Maybe there were just things going on that were out of your control. I think that's okay. I think those explanations can be accepted. But what can't be accepted is this idea that I don't have to answer to black folks. Because this black man is demanding an answer. This black man, I'm smarter than you, I'm more educated than you, or at least as smart. I'm not gonna brag, but I probably have more education than you by the age of 27 than you've had your whole entire life. So I'm not a dummy. And I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you the same question that women would be asking if you had a candidate running for office who had a history of rape. You know, if you had a man who was running for office and he's been accused, let's say he's been accused of rape several times. Both Biden and Trump have been accused of rape by more than one woman, if I'm not mistaken. Bill Clinton too. And if a man had been accused, he will be asked to answer for the accusations, right? He wouldn't just be able to say, well, I'm not going to dignify that question with a response. No, because the people that are accusing you are trying to reclaim their dignity. So in a way, mass incarceration is kind of the Me Too movement for black men. It's the Me Too movement for black men, largely because black men were being locked up in droves like cattle. We were being exterminated en masse for a very long period of time, and nobody cared. We were taken away from our families en masse. Nobody cared. And the reason you can compare it to the Me Too movement, because the Me Too movement has to do with sexual assault. Well, people get raped in prison. Give me a yes or no if you are aware that people get raped in prison. Yes or no? Are you aware that prison rape is a problem? Give me a yes or no. Are you aware that some brothers go to jail and come home with HIV because they got raped involuntarily? Are you aware that rape is traumatic no matter who it is, male or female? Are you aware that in prison rape is 10 times worse than it is in society? Because in society, at least you can go to the cops. In society, you can file charges for almost anything. Somebody touches you on your booty, you can file charges. In prison, there is no rape counseling, from what I understand. In prison, there is no justice for rape victims. In prison, the rape doesn't just happen one time. You hear a white woman, cry on TV about something that happened one time 30 years ago, and my heart goes out to her. But what about that black man where the same thing happened to him every day for 20 years straight? There are black men who go to prison who get raped every single day for 10, 20 years straight. What about that man right there? Do we ignore him? Do we just say, well, bygones are bygones, lesser of two evils, well, you're a black man, so so what you went through doesn't matter. Whereas if a white woman were to go through even 1/1000th of that, we would have her on national TV. The whole country would have sympathy for her, right? So I kind of want to point this out to you to help you understand what black men are feeling. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. I'm not here to tell you to change your vote. If you're going to vote for Harris and Biden, do it. If you're going to vote for Trump and Pence, do it. If you're not going to vote for anybody, do it. If you're going to vote for a third-party candidate, do it. Do what works for you, right? That's always been my message. My message has never been, don't vote for the Democrats. My message has been, vote for whoever fits your conscience. I'm telling you, I'm not voting for the Democrats. This is who I'm voting for right here. So the next point I want to make, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. I want to make one final point on this. Here's the interesting thing with Kamala Harris. So here's the Democratic strategy is very, very basic, it appears to me, when it comes to black people. They don't really believe that they need support from black men to win the election. They don't believe that black men are really that significant in the political playing field. And who knows, maybe we're not. I don't know. I'm not trying to say we are or not. We're not the only players in this game. When Ice Cube and I are speaking up on behalf of the brothers and on behalf of the black community, I know they got bigger people out here to pay attention to than us. But the thing about it is that when you're talking about this election, you have to understand that when you look at a Kamala Harris, you're really seeing a person who has a lot of reconciling that would have to be done with black men for black men to trust her, like her, or to connect to her. She connects very well. If you're an AKA, then I absolutely think you should vote for her, because, or if that's what you want to do, because she's your soror. Why not, right? If you are a multicultural woman, you're from India, like Kamala is, or whatever the case may be, or you're just happy to see a black person in the White House, then I think that's okay too. If you're part of the black elite, then I can understand why you vote for her. I really can. But I think I hope that while I can understand why you would support her, I hope you can understand why I will not. There is nothing about Kamala in her political record or in her record as a human being that makes me feel that having her in the White House is going to make things any better for people like me, right? Like, I don't really have a fear of terrible things happening because I live a pretty nice life at this point in my life, right? But it wasn't always like that. I had a lot of friends I saw go down under Joe Biden, Bill Clinton's crime bill. My homeboy, Greg Wilkins, got shot in the head in front of his daughter when we were 25 years old. I had a lot of friends that got caught up in the game, caught up in bad situations, and there was no redemption for the black man. I wrote a book back in 2004 called What If George Bush Were a Black Man? And in that book called What If George Bush Were a Black Man, I highlighted the fact that for black men, statistically and otherwise, the margin of error is very small. You can make the same mistake as a white person, and the white person gets a couple of months of probation. You're in prison for the next 80 years. The white kid gets a slap on the wrist. You don't get to see your daughter until she's 35 years old. The white kid gets a good lawyer. You get a public defender who doesn't even spend any time on your case, and your life is on the line. So black life really never mattered in the criminal justice system. And I don't believe black life matters to other people now. I don't believe black life is really going to matter to non-black people for at least another 50 to 100 years. I think we're 50 to 100 years away from black lives really mattering to other people, because we must first achieve the goal of black lives mattering to black people. And black lives mattering to black people means that I'm appealing to you as a black person to at least consider the contradiction and the hypocrisy of us saying that, yeah, we know that millions of black men have been taken away from their families, but go ahead and support them anyway. Yeah, we know that a lot of innocent brothers were sent away to be raped repeatedly in prison, but let's go support them anyway. Right? We know about all the black men and black families that have been destroyed under these really toxic regimes in the past. Whether it's Kamala in California or Biden's crime bill, but let's vote for them anyway. We got to forgive and forget. Jesus said to forgive and forget. Well, if you don't understand as black people, that's what makes you weak. That's what makes people not respect you. That's what makes people think, well, we can get over on these people because they're not going to be critical thinkers. They're not going to hold a grudge. They're not going to seek any sort of revenge for what we've done to them or any accountability whatsoever, because they're just happy to go along to get along. Well, it's up to the men in particular, aggression and strategy. And I think just really, like when you talk about counterattacks and holding people accountable and not taking any bullshit, the men should be the first ones at the front of the line who are doing that. The men, we're the ones who have to stand up and say, no more. Like, no, this is not going to fly. You need to fix this. We'll give you our vote maybe, but you got to earn it. Right. And so if you look at Kamala's history, Kamala is a woman that it doesn't surprise me that Kamala has issues with black men. I don't think that it's a coincidence that black men were the ones locked up the most under her regime, because Kamala Harris, number one, she has a father from Jamaica. I think he's black, but I know that they owned slaves at one point. So that right there makes us a little bit different. She's part Indian, part Jamaican, a descendant of slave owners. I'm African American. I'm a descendant of slaves. That's a very different reality, but I'm going to put that to the side for now. But Kamala has a big issue with her dad. Her and her dad don't like each other. Women who hate their fathers tend to have a big issue with men, just like men who hate their mothers tend to have a big issue with women. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you've ever seen a guy who hates his mother. His mother was on crack. She abused him, treated him like shit. Men like that have a real big problem dealing with women. Same thing is true for women who hate their dads. That's just the reality. It's not a coincidence that this woman who let's claim she's a black woman, right? Whatever you want to call her. She hates her Jamaican father, and then she goes to an HBCU, meets thousands of black men through the course of her life, but she marries a white man. That's not a coincidence. Who you choose to marry is a reflection of how you think. Who you choose to marry is a reflection of your core values. If Barack Obama had married Becky Obama, if he had a blonde-haired, blue-eyed wife named Becky, black women would not have seen him the same as they saw him with this beautiful chocolate black woman, Michelle. Right? Like they would have seen him completely different. So if you would have seen Barack Obama as a different man, if he'd married Becky, then why wouldn't we see Kamala Harris as a different woman? Because she chose to marry Doug instead of Tyrone. That does say something, that means something. Doug is not going to help her connect to the experience of the black male in America. If anything, Doug might be a guy who convinces her that black men are toxic and scary and says, I'm going to protect you from the toxic, scary, terrible men in your community. And that's why some black women do choose to marry white guys, because they don't think black men are all that great. That's just the reality. That's my truth. That's what I see as a black man. I got to go. I got Lord Jamar in 3 minutes. If you're watching live, just go to his channel. I'll be on there in a few minutes. I'll see you guys soon. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Powernomics Masterclass starts on the 15th. So if you want to register with me and Dr. Claude Anderson, you can go to powernomicsmasterclass.com. That's powernomicsmasterclass.com. Use the code word podcast and you can get 30% off. Powernomicsmasterclass.com. Code word is podcast. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.